right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 5 of Around the Game, the biggest sports podcast in the country. And we are live at Nihati Bar and Restaurant. And I'm here in the studio with one of the most skilled basketball players to ever touch a basketball court. I mean, guess what? I'm here with Mark Opio, aka Mark Skills. Mark, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much. The pleasure is all mine. It's always great to catch up with you
I
every
mean,
single time.
Mark, you're my personal friend. I can call you a brother. I've known you for almost, 15, 20 years.
Yes.
Who's Marco Pio in the basketball world?
Well, what I can tell you is that Marco Pio is somebody who just fell in love with the game at a very tender age. Somebody who loved the game of basketball right from the onset. But I'm just a student of the game. I fell in love with the game, worked hard every single day and just trying to better myself. But overall, there are a couple of people who inspired me to play the game of basketball. Looking back, growing up, Norman was like Michael Jordan for me. I saw him grow up, his swagger, the way he used to play the game, the way he used to carry himself, how he used to respect the game. I mean, Norman was nothing short of phenomenal. But when you look at guys, so there was a couple of guys who came in after him. I used to see guys like Ken Baliajusa. I used to see Hakim Iga, Anwan God. There were a couple of guys who really inspired me to play the game. I picked little pieces from each and every person and then just molded it into my own game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want you to take the viewers through your basketball journey, where you began from. Did you begin when you, personally, I began playing like basketball when I was about 18 years old. Yeah, so I don't know if you're blessed and you began playing basketball when you're a kid or something. So take us through the day you fell in love with basketball.
What I can say about that is I started playing basketball when I was about 9 years old. And I got a chance to be told by some of the greats who came before other people. There used to be a team which used to come from Kenya, and they used to be called the KCITI Wildcats, the ones that gave Norman a scholarship. They used to have projects in Ginger, like in December, where they used to come out, coach kids, and that was during the time when they come to Uganda and they were going for Uplink. Actually, they were coming to Kampala for Uplink.
So they were from Kenya.
They were from Kenya.
Was it a particular team or something?
They were called KCITI Wildcats. That's what I remember clear.
Wildcats,
yes. And after those camps that they held in Ginger, after some time they signed Norman Blake, and Norman went and was out there for about like 4 years. And when he came back, he was a totally different player. But they used to teach us the basics of basketball at that time. Nothing really major, front pivot, reverse pivot, dribbling the basketball, laying up, ball handling both hands. And it was a really, I can say, we had a really great foundation playing the game of basketball. I learned from very great people. The foundations were real solid. So I started playing basketball. And then every time I would come back from school in primary, I just used to go to...
That was in primary what? What class?
Primary, like I started playing about primary 5, 6.
That was in Ginger, right?
It was in Ginger. I was at Magua Primary School. And then I used to play, and then every evening I used to go out to watch basketball. Guys playing at Ginger Says, of course, all the greats used to play there. The Normans, Donald, there was a guy called Swive, Beste, who was our coach in high school. All those guys used to play in Ginger. And there used to be a very big crowd when guys used to come out to, to watch basketball. Guys used to play in the evening. And it felt more, it was just pick up, but it was more like skins and shirts. But the crowd was so huge at that time. And you'd feel the intensity, the pressure of the game at that time. I just kind of fell in love with just the game, but just looking at those guys play. And then right after that, I went to Ginger College. And then at Ginger College, I met a couple of guys. And then we just started taking the game seriously. I got into the school team when I was like in senior 2. And then the rest was history from there on. And then I came out to Lugazi. And then I met the likes of you, Pippen, Yahya, Wamono, Hillary, couple of guys, Kaka, Adenyo, Biko Crispin. And then we had a great coach at that time, also Beste. And then we just played together with the same group of guys. And then the game just started developing from there on out. And then after we got done with senior 6, came into the league, you went to vegetarian, Wams went to sharing, Pippen was in UCU, Yaya was in UCU, and then the other guys that we played, you guys used to come from Kenya and TZ. Most of them went back home anyways. So from there, I started taking the game seriously. I was a Rhino, putting in work every single day. Just used to be on the court, wake up in the morning 6, put in a couple of hours, come back in the evening, do the same thing. It was more just about repetition. Did so many reps to the point that now, when my body started coming together, the game also started coming together. I mean, it became a bit of a problem in the league.
You've given me too much information. You've summarized the whole interview. I don't know if you can call it quits and go home right now.
No,
But
no.
I want you to tell me your story. I don't want you to give me brief. You've told me CG, you're in Rhino. You've told me you're in high school. You've told me you're in lots of places. We're going to go slowly by slowly. I don't know if you get.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Ginger. I want us to begin from Ginger because we
Yeah.
have a lot of time. Tell us about Ginger because you've talked about lots of greats coming out of Ginger. Ken, I had Mike Mukula recently here. I also had Didi and Mariam T. Chebs were all here. They've been talking about some of the products who came out from Ginger. They talked about Norman, Ken Balyajusa. Those are the names I really caught when I was talking to them. How was basketball in Ginger? Because when I was in high school, there was a saying, if you don't go through that road going to the east, right, you'll never become a good basketball player. And I indeed went through the east, and I think I became one of the best that I could become. So how was basketball in Ginger? Why is it different from other?
Well, basketball in Ginger, like normally when all over the world, when people say like New York is the mecca of basketball, nowadays people are saying a lot of basketball has come from DC, a lot of basketball has come from Spain and stuff like that. I believe at that time in Uganda, Ginger was the mecca of basketball.
And why is that?
Man, there was just a swagger and flair, like there was no backing down. It doesn't matter how tough the opponent is. Like the spirit with which we grew playing basketball, every time you step on the floor, you had to believe you're the best player to be out there on the floor. And oftentimes you would see the culture, the tradition. It was like people would wake up in the morning. Everybody's trying to get
That's
better.
the Nomans. That was a Ginger SS, right?
Yeah, that was Ginger. Even aside from the Normans, there were other groups of guys, like you see Julio Lutwama, who's now currently a coach of KIU. There was a group of guys who just used to wake up every day just to work out and get better. And there was that kind of, what should I call it? The love for the game was so intense to the point that everybody's desire was to get better. You understand? The desire was to get better. There was nothing like, oh, I'm playing for money or anything. It's just love for the game. I need to be the best that I can possibly be as a person. And when you see people come before you, do that, and it's like it's the culture that the city carries, you understand? The city of Ginger carries that kind of culture. Like everybody is a die-hard, people are playing aggressive, the love for the game, the intensity with which people play. I mean, it was highly, very contagious. It was infectious. Anybody who fell in love with the game in Ginger, you had one option. I either become good or I'm going to be thrown to the cans.
I mean, you've talked about Norman Blake. I know those players, Beste, Faisal, that coach, Norman Blake, Kisa Godi. Those are all Ginger products. I know they're way older than you. They're real legends in the game. I mean, how influential were these guys on your development of basketball to the youth in Ginger?
Well, when we talk about influential, they were everything. You understand?
Break it down.
Well, I'm going to break it down for you in such a way that...
And give me one particular incident where Norman pulls you up when you're down, when you're trying to land the game or something.
Well,
or kiss or something.
Yeah, well, at that time, let me start this way. All those guys were very influential for me in terms of playing basketball. But for me personally, Norman and Akeem plus Ken, they really stood out for me. But the first person who really talked to me about the game, I used to admire Norman, but the first person who talked to me was Ken. I remember him coming out to Ginger. I used to see him do. He told me when you're bouncing the ball and you're crossing to this side, you need to be able to look up all the time. You understand? He told me you have great potential. You can go so far in the game, but you need to be able. He showed me like the few basics here and there.
That was when you're a young boy.
That was when I was a young boy. And for some reason, that kind of stuck with me. He kind of took a liking to me as a person, and it just kind of stuck with me for a very long time. And then as I grew older, I used to look at Norman, but Norman was more like every time I would see him, I was completely dumbfounded. Yeah, he was.
It was like Michael Jordan.
It was like basically Michael Jordan around that place. Like his swagger, the way he used to carry himself. It was even hard to talk to him. You understand? Not that he had a bad character. He was a very nice person. He mingles with everybody. But most times you'd see me, you're like starstruck. You understand? He was like a small god, literally. You understand? He was like a small god. So Norman started seeing Norman when I came out, when I was playing at Lugazi, when they used to come out with Coach Beste and they used to play a couple games with us, show us what to do, what not to do. But he really talked to me when I was at Rhino, when he started playing at VCC. He would tell you, man, this part of the game is lacking. Yes, you can handle the ball pretty well, but you need to develop this part of your game. You need to be able to attack the rim. You need to be able to shoot better as a person. And when somebody who's older and he can see himself in you, he can see that, oh, man, you know what? This kid can actually really be good. And then he starts channeling you in the right direction. And then fast call up when I was still in the second division, when God and Timothy Odeke were running the national team where, we're doing our training from UCU. And then that's the time he was really talking. It was like, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. When this situation happens, it was more like situational kind of basketball. Like we knew how to play, yes, but now when it comes to a game like where you're forced to play in like a half-court situation, how to read, how to react, how to come off picks and everything. Norman did an amazing job for me at that time.
I mean, so from Ginger, you went on and played in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, you were in, was it JIC or something?
I was in Ginger College, yeah.
Ginger College. How was Ginger College? Was basketball competitive in Ginger College?
Yeah, it was very competitive at Ginger College. We had a couple of guys who came out of Ginger College. Norman himself was an alumni of Ginger College. We had the likes of Isaac Afidra. That's where the name came from, Magalo. Apparently, he used to be able to grip the lab stools at school, and that's where the name Magalo came from. And for some reason, it stuck with him for a long time. But Ginger College, the culture of basketball was really so strong. When it was very competitive, and Ginger College had people from all walks of life. We had kids coming in from Kampala, we had kids coming in from Ginger, Iganga, and the basketball, we had a good basketball court compared to a lot of schools, for example, like Mwiri and Butiki.
So Ginger College was the cream of basketball in high school?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. The schools which really stood out in Ginger in basketball was Ginger Says. Ginger Says, and then during that time, the Normans were in St. James as well. I just kind of like, those were the dominant schools. And then Ginger College, of course, came in. Of course, ahead of schools like Mwiri, Butiki, and all them other schools around. But if you look at like Ginger College had a couple of men who are really good at basketball. And there was a hierarchy. You know, you can't come in senior one. You know how single schools were. You can't come in senior one, no matter how good you are. Yeah. You just can't come in and then, you know, you take over and everything. There's a hierarchy. Yeah. So you start picking up around senior 3, senior 4. By the time you get to senior 4, you guys are the kings of a school. And no matter how good you are, like in a single school at that time, what used to happen is, there was a time where we used to play basketball. When they ring the bell and we're done with classes at 4, that's the time you have about 30 minutes to go and play. Because when the big boys come in, the Isaacs, it was a wrap, man. I came in when Isaac had just finished his senior 6, yeah? At the time I came in, after my senior 1, he had just left. And the Normans had left also prior to that. So we had guys like Opri Harvey, we had the Oire Ivans, we had some guys who are called Duncan, some of them played in KCCA in the league. We had Rangalinda who was in sharing as well. We had a couple of guys.
Are these nicknames or something? I don't
know man, like in high school, most of the names we had were nicknames.
So why are you giving me nicknames? I need you to tell me real names.
To be honest with you, I don't remember some of their names. But I remember the nicknames. The nicknames really stuck with them up to now.
Nabje.
Hey, Nabje. You remember Chibechitio. You understand? So basically, when we were in high school, it's about nicknames. Don't you remember your nickname? Nameless. You don't remember? You're nameless in high school. Now look at you now. People calling you Devi. Yeah? You understand? Yeah. So basically, that was it. But Ginger College basketball was a great turning point for me. I was torn in between cricket and basketball. I used to play both sports because I got a chance to also play cricket under 15 for the national team as well. But for some reason, I was more drawn to the game of basketball. Like I just had a knack for the game. Every time I would step out there on the floor and be on a basketball court in between the 4 lines, I would just get goosebumps.
So was it easy for you to learn basketball when you're in Ginger College?
Yeah, I think it was
Did you have like competitions? Did you have like high school competitions? Did you go for tournaments outside school?
Yeah, we did.
Who was your coach in Ginger College?
Well, in Ginger College we had 2 coaches. First we had Norman Blake. Norman Blake was a coach. He came back, you know, he was helping the kids and everything. And then we had, after we had Kasada Mark. Kasada, Yeah,
Ginger.
yeah, it was a product of Ginger, so he coached us. But having come, like, because during the holidays I used to go and play at Ginger Says, so those guys used to come out. So by the time they came to the school, they already knew me. And the fact that you have those kind of mentors, people who are talking to you about the game, and these are guys who are already playing in the league as well.
Who have done it before.
They've done it, you know, they were champions with Skyjammers and everything. And they knew like what to do for you to be a better player, you understand? And so basically what I'm thankful for in basketball, I can say, I passed through the right hands, you understand? These guys coached me, I was a student of the game, I learned the right way, you know, I just kept stacking up days, like they always say. I kept stacking up days, more reps, just
That was in high school.
just watching a little bit of video here and there, learning like different kind of
But how are you
situations.
watching videos? When
At the
you
time, of course, they used to record them on
In
tapes.
school?
Yeah. On tapes, yeah. On tapes, they used to bring us some tapes. We used to watch it in the DH, the entertainment room, like they'll put it in, and then you watch like NBA, All-Star, you see what these guys were doing. And you'd also see some of these guys as Skyjammers. They used to look up to certain NBA players as well. Like I remember Norman Blake, one thing that stuck with me, he used to love T-Mac a lot, Tracy McGrady.
Yeah.
And if you look at both of them, you know, the height, how lanky they are, their style of play. Because like if you look at like Norman was like a 3-level scorer. He could literally do everything on the basketball court. But what really stood out for him was his 3-level player. 3-level player, what we mean, like for most guys who don't understand it, is he could attack the rim, he could hit the mid-range, and he could play beyond the arc. And back then, everybody used to play like position kind of basketball. Norman was the first guy I saw could play every position on the basketball court. And now, learning from those guys, watching film, consistently practicing every day, and being talked to what habits to stay away from if you want to excel in the game. I mean, they just kind of molded me, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So from Ginger College, you went on to
Lugazi
right?
next, yeah.
Yeah, I'll share a personal story with you. When I was in school with you, I don't think there was anyone as skilled as you with the handles and everything. Of course, there are players like Pippen, like Wams, but the handles were really sharp. I want to be honest with you. How was Lugazi as a basketball school, and how was Coach Faisal Beste? How influential was he in your basketball career?
What I can say is that, first of all, before I even start answering the question, is I just want to
It's
be...
not a question.
No, it's a conversation, basically. Okay, before I get into that, I just want to be just thankful for the guys I met at Lugazi, you understand? They've been very inspirational in my life from that time till now. I talk to a lot of them, you inclusive, of course, you're my brother. But the culture of basketball in Lugazi, by the time we came in, I came from a different kind of background and landed into a background in a totally different basketball school.
But it was orchestrated by Beste.
It was orchestrated definitely by Beste. Like he single-handedly do that because he told me, man, you come to school and play basketball. You come, there's good guys, there's good players and stuff like that. So when I came out, I met the likes of you, I met Pippen, there was Keddy John, there was Wamono Hillary, we had Nabje, and then we had a couple of guys who are from like TZ, Daniel, we had like Kaka, Buto Crispin. I think those are the guys that we had. But it was just great because it was different. I was coming from a different kind of basketball, and then also I met guys who are from different places. I wasn't used to playing with them. Now, like you find the Crispins, they're a bit more mature in the way they used to approach the game. You understand? They're a bit more mature in the way they used to approach the game. It was a bit different. So I had to make the necessary adjustments. But nevertheless, what I can tell you is Beste was very instrumental. He helped me like navigate my way through. And the standard in Lugazi, of course, the standard was pretty high also as well. So it forces you to kind of also step up. Because you had these players who are older and new, that are more experienced.
Like me, of course.
Of course, man, me and you were on the same team. We're even in the same house. You don't remember White House. Yeah, but in Lugazi, like you had, like sometimes you'd meet a couple guys, you're growing, like you're playing with full grown men. Their bodies have come together. You're a little bit weak, they're stronger, they're taller.
I mean, who was stronger than me?
Who was stronger than you?
Yeah, who is this guy you're talking about?
Biko was stronger. I think Biko was stronger. We used to have Kaka. We had Fabian Mujarifu, he was called Muna or something like that. Yeah, so Daniel. And those guys were pretty strong and they were tall, and some of them had experience of basketball without borders as well.
I mean, then you traveled to South Africa.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he played, and Crispin had played in Kenya before in a couple of leagues.
I mean, they told me he was in the national team when he was in high school. Is it true?
Well, I don't know about that. I think you can ask him that. I'm not so sure. But Lugazi was a really an amazing experience for me. Just got to learn a lot from a lot of people. Of course, we had our go-to guy in Lugazi, Pippen. Everything, he had a lot of flair, man. He could do everything, literally. And then, of course, from there on out now, we just had it to, when we came out into the league, it was a totally different ball game now. So things just kind of changed in the league. Yeah.
I mean, before we proceed, I want us to go into a very, very short break. For the viewers outside there, please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and be part of the family. We'll see you in a little while.
All right.